Nrsimha ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. I'm just going to be reading from Prahlad pacifies the Lord with prayers from the 7th canto, chapter 9 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shinarda Vacha Evam Saradaya Sarve Brahma Rudra Pura Sharaha Nopaitum Ashakam Manu Samrambam Sudarasadam. The great saint Narada continued. The demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and many other great demigods dared not come forward before the Lord, who at the time was extremely angry. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung in his Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Krodha Bhakta Dveshi Jane. Anger should be used to punish a demon who is envious of devotees. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya. Lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy all have their proper use for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His devotees. And the Lord also cannot tolerate blasphemy of the devotee. Thus Lord Nrsimha was so very angry that the great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and even the goddess of fortune, who was the Lord's constant companion, could not pacify him, even after offering prayers of glorification and praise. No one was able to pacify the Lord in his anger, but because the Lord was willing to exhibit his affection to Prahlad Maharaj, all the demigods and others present before the Lord pushed Prahlad Maharaj forward to pacify him. Text 2. Sakshat Shri Preshita Devaya Drishta Tam Mahad Adbhutam Adrishta Shuddha Purva Tvat Sano Peyaya Shankita. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmiji, was requested to go before the Lord by all the demigods present, who because of fear could not do so. But even she had never seen such a wonderful and extraordinary form of the Lord, and thus she could not approach him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord has unlimited forms and bodily features. Advaitam, Achyutam, Manadi, Manantarupam. Brahma Samhita 5:33. These are all situated in Vaikuntha, yet Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, being inspired by Leela Shakti, could not appreciate this unprecedented form of the Lord. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya recites the following verses from the Brahmanda Purana. A lot of Sanskrit. Adrishta Shuddha Purva Tvat Anyai Sada Janaya Janai Singham Sankiteva Shir Loka Mohayano Yayo Parade Chaiva Vatsalya Darshanaya Harerapi Gatva Manastata Brahma Paradam Presayatada Ekatraikasya Vatsalyam Visheshad Darshayed Dari Avarasyapi Mohaya Kramenai Vapi Vatsala. In other words, for the common man, the form of the Lord as Nrsimha is certainly unseen and wonderful, but for a devotee like Prahlad Maharaj, such a fearsome form of the Lord is not at all extraordinary. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee can very easily understand how the Lord can appear in any form he likes. Therefore, the devotee is never afraid of such a form. Because of special favor bestowed upon Prahlad Maharaj, he remained silent and unafraid, even though all the demigods, including even Lakshmi Devi, were afraid of Nrsimha. Narayana Parasarve Nakutasjana Bibhyati 6:17-28. Not only is a pure devotee of Narayan, like Prahlad Maharaj, unafraid of any dangerous condition of material life, but also if the Lord appears to mitigate the fear of a devotee, the devotee maintains his status of fearlessness in all circumstances. Next. Paradam presayamasa brahmavastitam antike tata prasamayopehi swapitre kupitam prabhum. Thereafter, Lord Brahma requested Prahlad, who was standing very near him, "My dear son, Lord Nrsimhadev is extremely angry at your demoniac father. Please go forward and appease the Lord." Tateti sankai rajan mahabhagavator bika apechat bhuvi kayena nanama vidritanjali. Narada Muni continued, "O king, although the exalted devotee Prahlad Maharaj was only a little boy, he accepted Lord Brahma's words. He gradually proceeded toward Lord Nrsimhadev and fell down to offer his respectful obeisances with folded hands. Swapada mule patitam tam arbakam vilokya deva kripaya pradipluta upapya tachirnash yadadat karambujam kalahi vitrasta diyam kritabhayam." When Lord Nrsimhadev saw the small boy Prahlad Maharaj prostrated at his soles of his lotus feet, he became most ecstatic in affection toward his devotee. Raising Prahlad, the Lord placed his lotus hand upon the Lord's head, because his hand was always ready to create fearlessness in all of his devotees. Purport: the necessities of the material world are four: ahara, nidra, bhaya, maituna, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. In this material world, everyone is in a fearful consciousness, sadasa mudvigna diyam, and the only means to make everyone fearless is Krishna consciousness. When Lord Nrsimhadev appeared, all the devotees became fearless. The devotees' hope of becoming fearless is to chant the holy name of Lord Nrsimhadev. Yato yato yami tato Nrsimha. Wherever we go, we must always think of Lord Nrsimhadev. Thus there will be no fear for the devotee of the Lord. Satat kara sparsha duta kila shubha sapad yaviv yakta paratma darshana tapada padmam ridi nirvito dado shyatanu klina yad ashulochana. Purport, translation. By the touch of Lord Nrsimhadev's hand on Prahlad Maharaj's head, Prahlad was completely freed of all material contaminations and desires, as if he had been thoroughly cleansed. Therefore, he at once became transcendently situated, and all the symptoms of ecstasy became manifest in his body. His heart filled with love and his eyes with tears, and thus he was able to completely capture the lotus feet of the Lord within the core of his heart. It's stated in the Gita 14:26, Mam shayo vabhichanena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatichaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, who at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Mami partha vipashaja yepi shu papayonaya sriyo vaishas tata shudras tepi yanti paramgati. Son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they may be born of a lower birth, women or vaishyas or even sudras, can approach the supreme destination. On the strength of these verses from Bhagavad Gita, it is evident that although Prahlad Maharaj was born in a demoniac family, and although virtually demoniac blood flowed within his body, he was cleansed of all material body contamination because of the exalted position as a devotee. In other words, such impediments on the spiritual path should not stop him from progressing, for he was directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are physically and mentally contaminated by atheism cannot be situated on the transcendental platform, but as soon as one is freed from material contamination, he is immediately fit to be situated in devotional service. Next, number 7. Asto siddhirim darim ekagra manasa susamahita prema gadgadaya vacha tanyasta vidayekshana. Prahlad Maharaj fixed his mind and sight on Lord Nrsimhadev, and with full attention, a complete trance, with a voice, fixed mind, he began to offer prayers in love with a faltering voice. Purport. The word susamahita means very attentive or fully fixed. The ability to fix the mind in this way is the result of yoga siddhi, mystic perfection. As it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 12:13:1, Dhyana vastita tat gatena manasa. Perfection. One attains yogic perfection when he is free from all material aversions and his mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord. This is called samadhi or trance. Prahlad Maharaj attained that stage beyond the senses because he was engaged in service. He felt transcendentally situated, and naturally his mind and attention became saturated in transcendence. In that condition he began to offer prayers as follows. Number 8, 9. Manye dana vijana rupa tapa shuto jas teja prabhava balapurusha buddhi yoga naradanayana hi bhavanti parasya pumso bhakjat tutosha bhagavan gajayutapaya. Prahlad Maharaj continued, one may possess wealth, an aristocratic family, beauty, austerity, education, sensory expertise, luster, influence, physical strength, diligence, intelligence, and mystic yoga power. But I think that even by all these qualifications, one cannot satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, one can satisfy the Lord simply by devotional service. Gajendra did this, and thus the Lord was satisfied with him. Purport. No kind of material qualification is the means for satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, only by devotional service can the Lord be known. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Unless the Lord is pleased by the service of his devotee, the Lord does not reveal himself. Naham prakasha sarvasha yogamaya samavrita. This is the verdict of all Shastras. Neither by mental speculation nor by material qualifications can one understand or approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Number 10. Vipradvisad guna utad adavinda nabha padadavinda mukutat swapacham varishtam manye tadarpitam mano vachanen hiharta pranam kunati sakulam natu buddhimana. If a Brahmana has all the 12 of the Brahminical qualifications, as they are stated in the book called Sanat Sujata, but he's not a devotee and is averse to the lotus feet of the Lord, he is certainly lower than a devotee who is a dog eater, but who has dedicated everything, mind, words, activities, wealth, and life, to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee is better than such a Brahmana because a devotee can purify his whole family, whereas the so-called Brahmana in the Such a devotee is better than a Brahmana because the devotee can purify his whole family, whereas the so-called Brahman in the position of false prestige cannot purify even himself. Purport. Here is a statement by Prahlad Maharaj, one of the 12 authorities regarding the distinction between a devotee and a brahmana, expert in karma kanda, or Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. There are 4 varnas and 4 ashrams, which divide human society, but the central principle is to become a first-class pure devotee. It is said in the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, Bhagavat Bhakti Hinasya, Jati Shastram Japastapa, Aprana Syaiva Dehasya, Mandanam Loka Ranjanam. If one is born in a high family like that of a brahmana, kshatriya, or vaishya, but is not a devotee of the Lord, all his good qualifications as a brahman, kshatriya, or vaishya are null and void. Indeed, they are considered decorations on a dead body. In this verse, Pralahda speaks of the Viprats, the learned brahmanas. The learned brahmana is considered best among the divisions of a brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, and sudra. But a devotee born in a low Chandala family is better than such a brahmana, not to speak of the kshatriyas, vaishyas, and others. A devotee is better than anyone, for he is the transcendental position on the Brahman platform. Mamcha yoga abhichade na bhakti yogena sevate. Sagunan samati chaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. The 12 qualities of a first-class Brahman is stated in the book called Sanata Sujata are mentioned here. Jnanam cha satyam cha dhamma shutam cha yamat saram rish titi cha nasuya yagnascha danam cha driti samascha mahavrata dwadasa brahmanasya. The European and American devotees in the Krishna conscious movement are sometimes accepted as brahmanas, but the so-called caste brahmanas are very much envious of them. To answer such envy, Pralahda Maharaj says that one who has been born in a Brahmin family but is falsely proud of his prestigious position cannot even purify himself, not to speak of his family. Whereas a Chandala, a low-born person, is a devotee and has fully surrendered unto his lotus feet of the Lord, he can purify his entire family. We have had actual experience in how Americans and Europeans, because of their full Krishna consciousness, have purified their whole family, so much so that the mother of a devotee at the time of her death inquired about Krishna with her last breath. Therefore, it is theoretically true and has been proven practically that a devotee can give the best service to his family, his community, his nation. The foolish accuse the devotee of following the principles of escapism. But actually, the fact is that devotee is the right person to elevate a devotee engages everything in the service of the Lord, and therefore he is always exalted. Number 11. Naivatmana Prabhur ayam nijala bapurno manam janad avidushat karuno vrinite yad yajjano bhagavate vidaditamanam tachchatmane pratimukasya yatamukashi. Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always fully satisfied in himself. Therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee, but the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in the mirror is also seen to be decorated. Purport. In Bhakti Yoga, it is recommended that a devotee follow the 9 principles: Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. This service of glorifying the Lord by hearing, chanting, and so on is not, of course, meant for the benefit of the Lord. The devotional service is recommended for the benefit of the devotee. The Lord is always glorious, whether the devotee glorifies him not. But if the devotee engages in glorifying the Lord, The devotee himself automatically becomes glorious. Cheto darpanam arjanam bhavamahadavagani vapanam. Chaitanya Anjali 25. The Lord, by glorifying the Lord constantly, the living entity becomes purified in the core of his heart, and thus he can understand that he does not belong to the material world, but is a spirit soul whose actual activity is to advance in Krishna consciousness, so that he may become free from the material clutches. Thus the blazing fire of material existence is immediately extinguished. Bhavamaha devagni nirvapanam. A foolish person is amazed that Krishna orders Sarva Dharmam Parijajya Mamekam Sharanam Praja, 1865 Gita. Abandon all varieties of religious activities and just surrender to me. Some foolish scholars even say that this is too much to demand, but this demand is not for the benefit of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, it is for the benefit of human society. If human beings, individually and collectively, surrender everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in all Krishna consciousness, all of human society will benefit. One who does not dedicate everything to the Supreme Lord is described in this verse as a vidush, a rascal. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself speaks in this way. Namam duskritino mudha prapadyante naradama maya prahityagana asurim bhavamashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, they do not surrender unto me. Because of ignorance and misfortune, the atheists and the Naradamas, the lowest of men, do not surrender the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, although the Supreme Lord himself is full of in himself, he appears in different yugas to demand the surrender of the conditioned souls, so they will benefit by becoming free from the material clutches. In conclusion, the more we engage in Krishna consciousness and render service unto the Lord, the more we benefit. Krishna does not need service from any of us. Tasmad aham vigita viklava ishvarasya sarvatmana mahi grinami yata manisham nicho jaya guna visargam anupravishta puyetayena hi puman anuvarnitena. Therefore, although I was born in a demoniac family, I may without a doubt offer prayers to the Lord with full endeavor as far as my intelligence allows. Anyone who has been forced by ignorance to enter the material world may be purified of material life if he offers prayers to the Lord and hears the Lord's glories. Purport. It is clearly understood that a devotee does not need to be born in a very high family, to be rich, or to be aristocratic, or to be very beautiful. None of these qualifications will engage one in devotional service. With devotion, one should feel, God is great and I am very small. Therefore, my duty is to offer my prayers to the Lord. Only on the basis can one understand and render service to the Lord, as the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 1855, Bhakti mama bijanati yavanyas chasvi tatvataha tato mam tatvato gatva vishate tad anantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Thus Pralahda Maharaj decided to offer his best prayers to the Lord without consideration of his material position. 13. Sarve yami vidicha karastavasat vadamno pramadayo vayam ivesha nachod vijanta chemaya bhutaya bhutatma sukaya chasya vikriditam bhagavato uchirabhutarai. O my Lord, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma are sincere servants of your Lordship, who are situated in the transcendental position. Therefore, they are not like us, Pralahda and his father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Your appearance in this fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and improvement of the universe. Purport. Prahlad Maharaj wanted to assert that his father and other members of his family were all unfortunate because they were demoniac, whereas the devotees of the Lord are always fortunate because they are ready to follow the orders of the Lord. When the Supreme Lord appears in this material world in his various incarnations, he performs two functions: saving the devotees and vanquishing the demon, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskitam, Bhagavad Gita 4:8. Lord Nrsimhadev, for example, appeared for the protection of his devotee. Such pastimes are those of Nrsimhadev are certainly not meant to create fearful situation for the devotees, but nonetheless, the devotees, being very simple and fearful, were afraid of the fierce incarnation of the Lord. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, in the following prayers, requests the Lord to give up his anger. Number 14. Tad yachcha manyum asuras chahatas tvayadya modeta sadhurapi vischikasarpahacha lokascha nivritam iha pratiyanti sarve rupam nishinga Bibhayaya jana smaranti. My Lord Nrsimhadev, please therefore cease your anger now that my father, the great demon, Hiranyakashipu, has been killed. Since even saintly persons take pleasure in the killing of a scorpion or a snake, all the worlds have achieved great satisfaction because of the death of this demon. Now they are confident of their happiness, and they will always remember your auspicious incarnation in order to be free from fear. Purport. The most important point in this verse is that although saintly persons never desire the killing of any living entity, they take pleasure in the killing of envious living entities like snakes and scorpions. Hiranyakashipu was killed because he was worse than a snake or a scorpion, therefore everyone was happy. Now there was no need for the Lord to be angry. The devotees can always remember the form of Nrsimhadev when they are in danger. Therefore, the Lord's appearance is always worshipful and auspicious for all sane persons and devotees. 15. Naham vivem yajita te tibayan kapchasya jivarka netra rukuti rabasorga damstrat antra saja chatyaja keshara shankukarnan Nirada Bita Digibad Adi Bin Nakagat. My Lord, who are never conquered by anyone, I am certainly not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like the sun and your frowning eyebrows. I do not fear your sharp pinching teeth, your garland of intestines, your mane soaked with blood, or your high wedge-like ears, nor do I fear your tumultuous roaring, which makes elephants flee to distant places, or by your nails, which are meant to kill your enemies. Purport. Lord Nrsimha's fierce appearance was certainly most dangerous for the non-devotees, but for Prahlad Maharaj such a fearful appearance was not at all disturbing. The lion is very fearsome for other animals, but its cubs are not at all afraid of the lion. The water of the sea is certainly dreadful for all living entities on the land, but within the sea, even a small fish is not afraid. Why? Because the small fish has taken shelter of the big ocean. It is said that although great elephants are taken away by the flooding waves of the river, the small fish swims opposite the current. Therefore, although the Lord sometimes assumes a fierce appearance to kill the demon, Duskritis, the devotees worship him. Keshava, Drita, Narahari Rupa, Jaya Jagadish Hare. The devotees always take pleasure in worshiping the Lord and glorifying the Lord in any form, either pleasing or fierce. 16. Trastos mayaham kripana vatsala du sahogra samsara chakra kadanad gatat gasatam anita bada sakarma bir usahutama te nigmulam prito pravarga sharanam vyayase kadanu. O most powerful, insurmountable Lord, who are kind to the fallen souls, I have been put into the association of demons as a result of my activities. Therefore, I am very much afraid of my condition of life within this material world. When will that moment come when you will call me to the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the ultimate goal of liberation from conditioned life? Purport. Being in the material world is certainly miserable, but certainly when one is put into the association of asuras, or atheistic men, it is intolerably so. One may ask why the living entity is put into the material world. Indeed, sometimes foolish people deride the Lord for having put them there. Actually, everyone is put into conditioned life according to his karma. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, representing all the other conditioned souls, admits that he was put into life among the asuras because of the results of his karma. The Lord is known as the Kripana Vatsal because he is extremely kind to the conditioned souls. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, therefore, the Lord appears whenever there is a discrepancies in the execution of religious principles. Yada yada hi dharmasya tadatmanam shajamyaham. The Lord is extremely anxious to deliver the conditioned souls. Therefore, he instructs all of us to return home back to Godhead. Sarva dharmam parichaja mam ekam shadanam vraja. 1866. Thus Prahlad Maharaj expected that the Lord, by his kindness, would call him again to the shelter of his lotus feet. In other words, everyone should be eager to return home back to Godhead, taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus being fully trained in Krishna consciousness. Some will wonder how we can do that. That's the mercy of the Lord. Number 18. Soham priyasya surida paradevataya lila katas taba Nrsimha Varinchagita Anjas Tatarm Yanu Grinam Guna Vipramukto Durgani Te Pada Yugalaya Hamsa Sangha. My Lord Nrsimhadev, try by engaging in your transcendental loving service in the association of devotees who are liberated souls, Hamsas, I shall become completely uncontaminated by the association of the three modes of material nature and be able to chant the glories of your Supreme Lordship, who is so dear to me. I shall chant your glories, following exactly in the footsteps of Lord Brahma and his disciplic succession. In this way I shall undoubtedly be able to cross the ocean of nescience. Purport: a devotee's life and duty are very well explained herein. As soon as a devotee can chant the holy name and glories of the Supreme Lord, he certainly comes to the liberated position. Attachment for glorifying the Lord by hearing and chanting the Lord's holy name and activities of the Lord, Shabanam Kirtanam Vishnu, certainly brings one to the position where material contamination is absent. One should chant the bona fide songs received from the disciplic succession. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the chanting is powerful when one follows a disciplic succession. Evam parampara praptam imam raja sayo vidu. 4.2. Manufacturing many ways of chanting will never be effective. However, chanting the song or the narration left by the previous acharyas, Mahajano Yena Gata Sapanta, is extremely effective, and this process is very easy. Therefore, in this verse, Pralahda Maharaj uses the word anja, easily. Accepting the thoughts of exalted authorities through disciplic succession is certainly much easier than the method of mental speculation by which one tries to invent some means to understand the absolute truth. The best process is to accept the instructions of the previous acharyas and follow them. Then God realization and self-realization become extremely easy. By following this easy method, one is liberated from the contamination of this material modes of nature, and thus one can certainly cross the ocean of nescience, in which there are many miserable conditions. By following in the footsteps of the great acharyas, one associates with the hamsas, or the paramahansas, those who are completely free from material contamination. Indeed, by following the instructions of the acharyas, one is always freed from all material contamination, and thus one's life becomes successful. But for one reaches the goal of life, this material world is miserable, regardless of one's standard of life. Of this there is no doubt. Attempts to mitigate the miseries of material existence by material methods will never be successful. One must take to Krishna consciousness to become really happy, otherwise happiness is impossible. One might say that becoming advanced in spiritual life also involves tapasya, voluntary acceptance of some inconvenience. However, such inconvenience is not dangerous as material attempts to mitigate all miseries. Number 19. Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nishingha nartasya cha gadam uddanvati majano no taptasya tat pratividir ya hihan jasheshtats tavad vibho tanu britam tvad upekshitanam. My Lord Nrsimhadev, O Supreme, because of bodily conception of life, embodied souls neglected and not cared for by you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father and mother cannot protect their child, a physician in medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient, and a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. Purport: through parental care, through remedies of different kinds of disease, and through means of protection in the water, in the air, and on the land, there is always an endeavor for relief from various kinds of suffering in the material world, but none of them are guaranteed measures for protection. This may be beneficial temporarily, but they afford no permanent benefit, despite the presence. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9:31, Konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So Krishna is telling us to preach. Therefore, unless one is protected by the mercy of the Lord, no remedial measure can act effectively. One should consequently depend fully on the causeless mercy of the Lord Although, as a matter of routine duty, one must, of course, accept other remedial measures, no one can protect one who is neglected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this material world, everyone is trying to counteract the onslaught of material nature, but everyone is ultimately fully controlled by material nature. Therefore, even though so-called philosophers and scientists try to surmount the onslaught of material nature, they have not been able to do so. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 13.9 that the real sufferings of the material world are four: Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, birth, death, old age, and disease. In the history of the world, no one is successful in conquering these miseries imposed by material nature. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. 327. Nature is so strong that no one can overcome her stringent laws. So-called scientists, philosophers, religionists, and politicians should therefore conclude that they cannot offer facilities to the people in general. They should make vigorous propaganda to awaken the populace and raise them to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Our humble attempt to propagate the Krishna conscious movement all over the world is the only remedy that can bring about a peaceful and happy life. We can never be happy without the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Twad upekshitanam. If we keep displeasing our spiritual master, we shall never be happy within the material world, or upper and lower. 20. Yasmin yato yari yena cha yasya yasmad yasmayata yad uta yas tvapara parova bhava karoti vikaroti prityak svabhava sanchoditas tad akilam bhavatat sarupam. My dear Lord, everyone in this material world is under the modes of material nature, being influenced by goodness, passion, and ignorance. Everyone, from the greatest philosophic personality, Lord Brahma, down to the small ant, works under the influence of these modes of nature. Therefore, everyone in this material world is influenced by your energy, the cause for which they work, the place where they work, the time when they work, and the matter to which they work, the goal of life they have considered final, and the process of obtaining the goal, all are nothing but manifestations of your energy. Indeed, since the energy and the energetic are identical, all of them are but manifestations of you. Purport. Whether one thinks himself protected by his parents, by the government, by some place, or by some other cause, everything is due to the various potencies of the surrender, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything that is done, whether it is higher, middle, or lower planetary systems, is due to the supervision and control. Everything that is done, whether higher, lower, middle planets, is due to the supervision and control of the Supreme Lord. It is therefore said, Karmana daiva netrena jantur deho papattaye. 331.1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the super soul within the core of everyone's heart, gives inspirations for action according to one's mentality. All of these mentalities are merely facilities given by the Krishna to the person acting. Bhagavad Gita therefore says, Matak smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Everyone works according to the inspiration given by the Super Soul, because everyone has a different goal of life. Everyone acts differently as guided by the Supreme Personality of God. This 331.1 is very nice. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Karmana Daiva Netrena Jantur Deho Papattaye Striyak Pravishta Udaram Pungso Reta Ganashraya. Personality of Godhead said, under the the supervision of the Supreme Lord, and according to the result of his work, the living entity of the soul is made to enter into the womb of a woman through the particle of male semen to assume a particular type of body. Karmana Daiva Netrena. The word yasmin yato yadi yena cha yasya yasmat indicate that all activities, whatever they may be, are but different features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All of them are created by the living entity and fulfilled by the mercy of the Lord. Although all such activities are non-different from the Lord nonetheless directs sarva dharma parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Give up all of their duties and surrender unto me. When we accept this direction from the Lord, we can actually become happy. As long as we work according to our material senses, we are in material life. But as soon as we act according to the real transcendental direction of the Lord, our mission is spiritual. Our position is spiritual. The activities of bhakti, devotional service, are directly under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Narada Pancharatra says, Sarvopadi vimir muktam tatpartvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchite. When one gives up materially designated positions and works directly under the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's spiritual life is revived. This is described as swarupena avastiti, being situated in one's original constitutional position. That is the real description of mukti, or liberation from material bondage. So it's pretty long. We'll stop for a while. I'll be back in a little while with continue on in the same. It says this is the most likes for a live video yet, so that's because it's the prayers of Pralahda Maharaj. It's not just me talking. Anyway, thank you for whoever's listening, and I just need a little break. I'll be back in maybe 30 minutes. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Lord Nrsimha ki jai, Shri Pralahda Maharaj ki jai. Hare